Hello everybody, in this video we are going to continue on with the Allied campaign playthrough that we have been featuring in the previous videos up to this point. As you can see, like we've been continuing straight from in the previous videos, we are on the end screen for the mission that we just completed. We have our par time at the bottom and our actual time that it took to complete this mission on the right side there. And I did a little bit of research just because I was curious how this message up top is generated, and I was wondering if there were, a number of potential responses in this debriefing that it might give you compared to if there were only two. And I did find out that there are only two, so there is one pre-generated debriefing up top describing the result of the mission for if you complete the mission under the par time, and then a different one for if you complete the mission above the par time. So there are only two, depending on whether you beat the par time or you don't beat the par time, and that appears on the top screen there. What we're going to do now is just continue straight on into the next mission. All in all, there are 12 of the Allied missions in the campaign. We just completed the 6th mission prior to this one here, so we're going to jump right into the 7th one. And as we continue on into this kind of back half of these missions here, this really is where it starts to get a lot more entertaining, in my opinion. We've kind of got past the most basic technology being introduced to us in the game, and we're going to get more into some of the advanced options here. And so as the campaign continues to progress, this is really where it starts to become even more enjoyable than it has been. And you could make the argument, again, I'm just speaking from my own opinion, but we have played some of my personal favorite missions already as well. In particular, the mission where we have Special Agent Tanya, and the objective is to take out the missile silos inside of the Soviet Union, is one of my absolute favorites. But as we continue on, these missions are going to get even better, and there's going to be some strategic missions that we have to take part in and things like that, which we'll get into as they come at us here. But for now, we're going to continue right into the 7th mission, and when I hit this continue button, as we've experienced up to this point, it's going to jump right into the cutscene that precedes the next mission here.
No rest for the weary, Commander. Sorry to wake you, but General Carville has called an emergency debriefing scheduled to begin in right now.
Good morning, Commander. I've got good news and bad news. Good news is it's great to be home again. The bad news is our U-2's picked up a fleet of Soviet ships entering the South Pacific. It appears that General Vladimir is headed for Pacific Command Center in Pearl Harbor, as if they could mount a successful attack against us. I want you to prepare a genuine aloha for that little bulldog Vladimir. Oh, and get yourself a cup of coffee, Commander. You look deader than a Texas armadillo.
Establishing battlefield control. Stand by. Commander, there is no airborne threat that can evade the sight or missiles of the Aegis cruiser. It is the premier anti-air weapon. Sir, our aircraft carriers are the pride of the Allied Navy. In a moment's notice, the carrier's planes can take out any target quickly and from a very safe distance. Battle control online.
Right off the bat here, you'll notice a number of things. So we have a pretty significant amount of the terrain already revealed to us. As you can see here in our map, we also have a base that is already pre-constructed for us. So we really are only lacking in defense here. And you'll notice that we have some time before the enemy forces arrive, but you really want to pretty quickly start building up your defenses on this mission here. We got some ships coming at us already.
Incoming transmission.
Sir, this is not looking good. If we don't get relief soon, we're finished.
So we do have an ally that
Ally is under attack.
has a base that is already deployed up here as well. It's surrounded by barrels that are highly explosive, as far as I've ever experienced, there's really no way to save this base here,
Unit lost.
despite the fact that you get that transmission asking for assistance. It's pretty much just there to kind of provide
Construction
a window into the forces that the Soviets
Our
have.
ally is under attack.
There's very little chance, if any, like I said, that you can actually save your ally up there. So they're pretty much just meant to serve as a,
Unit promoted.
you know, example of the forces that the Soviets are going to have coming at you. As you can see, we have some dreadnoughts here,
Lost.
and they come right at you
Our base is under attack.
with their naval forces here. So we may actually lose all of our ships. It's going to be hard to maintain those.
Commander, Nihao Island has fallen. We should prepare the rest of Hawaii for invasion.
So this ship here that the Soviets have, we do have experience with these in the very first campaign mission here. But these are dreadnoughts, and as you can see, they're firing missiles towards our base here.
Our base is under
And
attack.
that is the only offensive weapon they have. But if they get to a point where they can effectively hit your structures, they are very, very effective. But they are also, on the other end of that coin, they're very easy to neutralize if you simply have a decent amount of anti-air built up. Those Patriot missiles here, and also your IFVs can simply fire at those missiles as they
Unit lost.
are in the air. Who is my unit that is being lost? Oh, right here. Shoot. As you can see, the
New
Soviets
rally
still have a
point established.
submarine that's going to successfully take out my aircraft carrier. So I will go into a breakdown of some of our Navy forces that we have at our disposal at some point. But what I'm trying to do right now is just survive this initial onslaught that comes at me. So when you begin this mission,
Building.
there's going to be a pretty decent chunk of the Soviet naval forces that come at you right off the bat. So you'll have to be prepared for that. You do come equipped with
Unit ready.
a decent amount of forces yourself that are already pre-built, enough to
Building.
have just enough to kind of push those forces back. As you can see, we lost everything, but we were able to
Construction
neutralize the
complete.
immediate threat. So you'll have to be prepared for that. They will send the
Building.
naval forces at you right away.
Unit ready.
And at that point, what they're going to do is start sending infantry units that they're just paradropping randomly across the map, just walking straight towards your base. So you will want a couple of defenses set up here. One of your pre-built structures is this power plant that just sits over here, kind of outside your base, which is really inconvenient because they start attacking that first. If there's any saving grace in regards to that power plant being there, it's the fact that you can kind of build some defenses out here just because they're in the proximity to that structure where they can be constructed. So I guess that's probably the reason why it's designed that way, so you can kind of expand out here a little bit on your defenses. But other than that, it just provides a simple target for the enemy to destroy.
Construction
So as far as our objective goes here, if we left click in the top right corner on the briefing button, we only have one objective, and that is to destroy all Soviet forces. So this isn't like the missions we've done recently. For the most part, up until this point, we've seen a lot of very similar missions where there's a specific structure that's being targeted. So for example, we had a mission where the moment that you destroy these nuclear silos, the mission is successful and it completes it right there. And there are Soviet bases on that map as well that you can either choose to destroy or not to destroy. This mission in particular will not be that way. Our only objective is to destroy the Soviet forces in their entirety. So we're going to have to locate the base and take out every unit that they have on the map, and that is how we're going to successfully complete this mission here. But initially what you're going to want to do, as I touched on a little bit, is just start constructing your defenses. Really focus on that. They don't send anything too crazy at you, especially after that initial push with their navy, with their naval units.
Complete.
There is a moment in time where they will sneak up on you, and it's right now. I was not very well prepared for it, but they will begin to try and sneak in through this lower portion of your base by just dropping these amphibious transports off full of infantry units. So if you are not prepared for that to occur, that can, even though they're not dropping off anything, you know, extremely scary in terms of the units they're dropping, that can really take you by surprise if you have no defenses down at that lower portion of your base. Luckily, as you saw, I was able to get, I was fortunate to just be able to squish those units with my tanks. I was able to just maneuver them just right where those infantry units didn't really stand a chance. But if you're playing through this for the first time and you're not prepared for that, you could be potentially looking over here on your map, and then all of a sudden you lose track of things, and you know, you got a bunch of infantry units attacking your construction center or your construction yard here, and you're in big trouble out of nowhere. So that's something to be aware of. They will try to send some forces down here on the southern part of the map, and if you're not prepared, those are a little bit tricky to address once that happens. Now we don't have our battle lab constructed yet, so we're going to go ahead and proceed with building that. And at some point we have access to what is probably my favorite technology in the entire game, and I'm hoping that appears on this mission, but I'm not entirely sure. We're going to find out once that battle lab is completed.
Navigation systems ready.
So we also have another feature that I haven't touched on yet. So you can, so we have our naval shipyard here, our allied shipyard, and this is what allows us to construct our navy, our boats. And when you have one that is damaged, even if it's only slightly damaged, you can still do this. It doesn't have to be critically damaged, but you can hover over that shipyard. It will turn the cursor into those 3 copper-colored arrows pointing down. If you left-click that once more, that is going to send that ship to that shipyard, at which point he is going to begin receiving repairs. And in the same way that our money ticks down when we click this little wrench here and repair our structures, you will see that money tick down when this repair on whatever ship that you have in that shipyard being completed. So it does take a little bit of money. It's almost not even enough to be noticeable unless you're very low on funds. But that is one tool that you have at your disposal if need be. And now they're just going to paradrop right into my base, I guess.
Our base is under attack. Repairing.
So they do have a couple tricks here, as you can see. They're not really sending anything that's difficult to address at us necessarily, at least not yet. Mainly just infantry units and some boats, some ships. But they do have a couple tricks to try and catch you off guard. They may come from this bottom portion of your base, like I said, or they may just drop some paratroopers right into the center of your base. So you really have to kind of have a well-rounded defense all over the place, or some units that are able to drive around and address anything that you were not anticipating.
Building.
So I built my battle lab, and that again did not give me access to what I was hoping to touch base on. So I'm going to save that as a surprise for when we do gain access to that. It gave us a spy and an aircraft carrier. So we do have access to a spy and an aircraft carrier that we did not have before. Simply due to the fact that we built our battle lab.
Complete.
We also do not have a service depot, so let's go ahead and construct our service depot, and then we're going to be in good shape in regards to the level at which we've built up our base, and we can begin making a plan for our offensive attack here.
Our base is under attack. Unit lost. Ore miner under attack. Repairing. New construction options. Our base is under attack.
Captain on the bridge. Enemy spotted.
So I'm not sure if I've touched on this either, but exactly in the same way that we can send a ship to our shipyard here in order to receive repairs, we can do the same thing with our tanks with this service or repair depot here. So for example, this is my most critically injured tank, and if I just send him in,
Repairing.
that cursor will turn to the copper arrows, 3 copper arrows pointing straight down. I left click one more time and that will send that tank into the repair depot to be fixed up.
Unit reporting. Bound forward.
And now he's in good shape.
Building.
Oh, interesting. So like I said, they're going to continue dropping units here. They actually dropped a tank here, but I'm not worried about it because we do have this Patriot missile here that's going to fire to take that missile right out of the air. But again, one of those things that if you are not prepped for it, that could really take you by surprise and put you in a bad position.
Unit promoted.
Good to go. Good to go.
Ore miner under attack.
High speed, low drag.
Construction complete.
Vehicle ready. Good to go. Yes, sir. Bound forward. On our way, sir.
Building.
All right, so what I'm going to do now... Oh, boy.
Unit lost. Our base is under attack. Construction complete.
So as you can see, we had
Repairing.
a small circle of terrain become revealed to us all of a sudden, all the way across the map in the enemy's base. So,
Building
oh
captured.
shoot,
Building.
we also had engineers successfully take over our barracks.
Vehicle ready.
In any case, what just happened was the Soviet forces built
Construction
a
complete.
nuclear
Construction
missile,
options.
and that is what's known as a super weapon in this game. So every faction has 2 super weapons, 2 technologies that are considered super
Unit
weapons.
ready.
And we're going to explore the second Soviet super weapon later on, but as of right now, they only have access to 1, which is their nuclear missile. As far as our forces go, we don't have any yet. That hasn't been introduced. But unfortunately, what's going to happen is we're going to see the time for that super weapon pop up in this bottom right corner of the gameplay screen specifically. And that's just going to tick down from 10 minutes. And the moment that
Vehicle ready.
time is up, we're going to get hit by a nuclear missile. There's very little to no way I'm going to be able to take that nuclear missile out prior to that time expiring. So we're probably going to be able to witness what happens when a nuclear missile is launched, which will be informative, but not ideal. But in any case, what I'm going to do is take out this little, I think those are pipes, set of pipes
Our
here.
base is under attack.
So if you recall from one of our previous videos, if you are attacking or attempting to attack something that is not an enemy structure or an enemy unit, the initial cursor is going to indicate that you cannot do that. You'll see we have that cursor with the red circle and the slash through it saying we cannot attack that. So in order to set your units to attack that, we're going to have to hold down the control button, and at that point left click. So when I hold down the control button, you'll notice that the cursor changes to the attack cursor, and then all you have to do from there is left click once more.
Ore miner under attack. Our base is under attack.
Like so. I know those pipes are gone. And the reason I did that is because I'm going to construct another Air Force command.
Our base is under attack.
Navigation systems ready.
And I think that will fit right there next to this one. And I'm going to attempt
Bound forward.
to build up some jets that hopefully I can utilize in the same way that we've done in the previous mission, where I can
Securing
begin taking their base apart piece by piece. But when this nuclear missile does go off, he's most likely going to target our
outstanding.
war factory, this thing here,
Unit promoted.
and I'm pretty nervous about a number of things. I'm nervous that they're going to knock our power out, which would leave a lot of our defenses without power. So in the 3 minutes I have remaining, I'm just going to try to build up my power plants here.
Repairing.
When it comes to
Construction
super weapons,
Building.
as we'll see, a major component of super weapons being utilized against you is whether or not you lose power as a result, especially because on top of that, we've got mostly prism towers here.
Construction complete. Unit promoted.
In terms of the defenses I've elected to put up.
Building.
And
Repairing.
so if that power does get knocked out, I'm going to have nothing. All these prism towers are going to be
Repairing.
down until I can get that power back up. So I'm presuming there's one of two things that I think they're going to use the super weapon on, just based on tendencies that the AI has.
Building.
I'm pretty sure they're going to set that nuclear missile right onto this war factory. That's very common to see. A lot of times they'll use that super weapon directly onto your war factory, which will destroy it. The nuke will not take out my whole base. It's called a nuclear weapon, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not like it's going to cause me to be completely unable to win this. But I think they're either going to hit that, my war factory, or my construction yard here. If they hit my construction yard, one
Construction complete.
super weapon against your construction yard will not destroy it, ironically, so that will leave it very critically damaged,
Warning.
nearly destroyed,
Missile launched.
but not entirely gone. So regardless of what happens, I'm pretty confident we'll be able to come back from it, and they may even hit us with multiple nuclear weapons. But we're just going to have to
Our base
hover
is
right
under
here and
attack.
see what they hit.
Unit lost. Repairing.
So, as I anticipated, they dropped it right on that war factory.
Repairing.
And that also took out my ore refinery, which I only had one of. So it's pretty devastating. It's as long as your base is established, it's not necessarily going to always be something that takes you out of the game, leaves you unable to win.
Destination,
But it does set you back, as you can see. Luckily, I was able to construct these power plants here. Without those, I may have been able to keep power, but it would have been much closer. Here, as you can see, with our power bar right here, we not only maintained power, but
Construction complete.
we stayed pretty
New construction options.
safe.
Destination, Commander?
So I'm going to build
Building.
another war factory. I'm also now getting concerned
base
about
is
the
under
lack of
attack.
funds that we have.
Our base is under attack.
Standing by.
Unit promoted.
Allied ship reporting.
Our base is under attack. Repairing.
Okay, so when this war factory is complete, I'm going to attempt to
complete.
do something.
New construction options.
Since I constructed that in
New
the same
rally
spot
point
again,
established.
when that nuclear
Building.
missile is ready to
New rally point
send my
established.
way once again,
Primary building selected.
it's going to be... Oh, they also took out my battle lab, I just realized. So my battle lab is also gone. But in any case, because I reconstructed that, they're very likely to just hit that again. And that's kind of
Unit
one of the
ready.
tricks of this game. If you are being
Maneuvers in progress.
hit by super weapons, there's
have
a
the tools.
very good chance
I won't
that
be late.
the AI kind of falls into a pattern where it's simply going to send your super weapon at the same thing, their super weapon at the same thing,
Maneuvers in progress.
over and over again. I mean, I believe we'll see that here when they hit me with another nuclear missile. I think since I constructed that again, they're literally going to drop the nuclear missile right onto the new war factory again. And you can kind of trick them into a repeating pattern. So, for example, I don't have the funds to do it yet, but if I kind of got myself into a better position here, and I had, let's say, $15,000, and I got hit by my the nuclear
Our
missile.
base is under attack.
I could reconstruct a war factory right there, for example, because I knew that they were going to hit that again, and then I could build another one elsewhere, like, I don't know, somewhere else that was further away from that, so that when they destroyed that with the nuclear missile, it didn't hamper me. In fact, I technically didn't lose any ability to make any technology. So you can kind of trick them into hitting those same things over and over again
Pick 'em up, set 'em down.
to kind of help with
Our base is under
being in a
attack.
better position once those
Tech building captured.
weapons are used. But what I'm going to do now, as you can see, I built a helicopter, a Nighthawk transport, which is what this guy here is. And that is a unit that can simply carry 5 infantry units anywhere on the map. Very susceptible to anti-air fire, anti-air defenses, and units, as you can tell. He does have a gun. It's not very
Our base is
effective,
under attack.
but it's
Building.
better than nothing.
Repairing.
But he is very effective if there is, a tech building across a body of water, for example, like we just saw here. He's very, very effective in taking an engineer, for example, into that spot, and so on. So I will demonstrate his offensive capabilities in a moment here, but the reason I wanted to do this is because capturing that tech airport gives us ability to call in a paradrop, as you can see. So we're going to be able to drop GI units anywhere we want on the map once that is ready, and that will continue for the remainder of the mission so long as that tech
Construction
airport
complete.
is not destroyed.
Warning. Nuclear missile
And I'm
launched.
going to put an ore refinery right there because there is some gold over here.
Unit reporting.
And they just launched their nuclear missile again. I'm pretty sure it's going to hit that war factory.
Our base is under attack.
Oh, very strange. This is very, very atypical, but they actually hit the... Oh, wow. They actually hit the shipyard with their nuclear
Set for new
missile. Not something they typically do, and as you can see, the shipyard is not destroyed by one nuclear missile. In fact, the shipyard is probably the structure that's going to take the least damage from a nuclear missile or other super weapon that the Allies have to offer, which we'll get into later when those become available to us. They are not yet. But not a very effective target for your super weapon if you are going to use one. The only thing that might do better against a nuclear missile than your shipyard is your construction yard, although I'm pretty sure that the construction yard is critically damaged. Not quite destroyed, but very, very nearly destroyed from a nuclear missile strike compared to your shipyard, which, as you can see, when that missile hit that shipyard, it was barely even halfway destroyed. So, anyway, while that happened, what I did was I constructed an ore refinery over here next to this tech airport that I
Select target.
captured. And the reason I did that is because there is some gold here, so this allows for one of my ore miners to begin collecting resources for me
Building.
right there. And there is a decent chance that they send one of those amphibious transports my way on this island here to try to destroy that, so I am going to get a couple of defenses set up.
Tour underway. Tour underway.
And in the meantime, I'm going to start making my way towards this base carefully.
Our base is under attack.
I don't want to get this helicopter too close
Construction
because, like I mentioned earlier, he's very susceptible to that anti-air. As you can see, almost lost him just by getting him too close for 1 second there. So I'm going to pull him away. I got a little bit of terrain revealed up to that shore where that Soviet base is, so it's better than nothing.
building.
And I'm going to make sure that I feel that this location is in a good spot
Repairing.
defense-wise. And in the meantime, we can explore this helicopter a little bit.
Our base is under attack.
He has a couple properties that you'll want to take note of here. So as you can see, when he's above a body of water, he's hovering above that body of water, which is pretty self-explanatory. He can't land in the water. However, you'll quickly notice that if you hover him over the land, he will automatically land onto the ground. So at this point, he's susceptible to units that are on the ground, be it tanks or infantry, or base defenses, even if you landed him right in your opponent's base and they had a base
Reinforcements
defense.
ready.
they could just take him out like that. Compared that to when he's hovering over water, or even if you continue just clicking him elsewhere over the land, he won't land because he's got an agenda, a place he's traveling to. But still, the moment you stop, he lands. Oh, no.
Tech building lost. Building.
So as you can see, like I suspected, they did attack my tech building up here. They actually captured it rather than attacked it. But since I did build that ore refinery right there, I can build a barracks and simply train another engineer. So got a little trick up my sleeve to simply take that right back.
Unit ready. Our base is under attack.
I'm hoping that the AI continues hitting my shipyard with that nuclear missile, which goes without saying, simply because it wasn't very effective. I'm not so sure that they're going to do that. Like I had mentioned before, I was very convinced that they were going to hit that war factory again, and they didn't. So they really could target anything here.
Warning. Nuclear
And we are going to find out.
Navigation speed to full. Aye, Commander.
So that time they decided to go with the war factory again. So I'm not sure if they're just going to dance back and forth between the war factory and the naval shipyard. Hard to tell at this point.
Our base is under attack. Repairing. Building. Repairing.
But in any case, that is what we're up against, and we want to continue reconstructing that war factory just in case. Because if we kind of make a mental error and don't rebuild that, they might target something else with their nuclear missile if that time expires and there's no war factory to hit. So that might come in the form of, you know, dropping one right here and taking out my barracks as well, or right here and targeting the power. Really hard to tell at this point.
Construction complete.
Because they haven't been consistent. But you do want to continue being weary about the damage that that nuclear missile can cause. So this is a tough map to kind of get an offensive force built up, even though you have a pre-constructed base. And I think the main reason for that is pretty simply just the ability to gather resources quickly is all I can kind of gather here. Also, the fact that the enemy force is not on the same island as you. So a little tough to get started here when it comes to
reinforcements
an offensive strategy, but
target.
We will get there.
Speed to full. Navigation systems ready.
Training.
And I need more information in regards to
construction complete.
The unrevealed terrain around their base. I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I don't know where their construction yard is, which is what I would suggest targeting first, just because that is what allows them to build everything else, which we've also touched on in previous videos. But one of my strategies I like to utilize is to train a Rocketeer. He's only 600, so he's not going to be too difficult to recover from in terms of the resources you spent on him. And I like to use these guys to explore unrevealed terrain, just because they're very maneuverable. They can fly, so they can get over the uneven terrain or across bodies of water very quickly. And the moment that we lose him, which we're probably going to, he's going to get hit by anti-air. Like I mentioned, we're not going to be devastated by the investment we made in him. So I like to utilize Rocketeers in that way for those reasons.
Captain on the bridge.
Unit ready. Building.
But if I can get an eye on where their construction yard is,
Rockets in the sky. Pushing away.
Unit promoted.
And that's in a position where I think I can get some Harrier jets in, I'm pretty tempted to use a similar approach to what I've used in the past, which is get at least 8, maybe 12 of those Harrier jets and fly them into the enemy base in order to take out that construction yard. Then from there you can just start to take apart their base piece by piece without fear that they're going to rebuild. So that's really what I would suggest. Did I lose my Rocketeer? I think I lost my Rocketeer and I'm not sure how. In any case, let me train another one. Just keep a better eye on him, I guess.
Training. Unit ready.
I'm going to try and find a spot. Let's just do it right there. Try and find a spot to build an ore refinery here so that if they choose to target my war factory again with their nuclear missile, that has tended to also take out this ore refinery each time. So if they do that again, since I have another one constructed right there, I don't have to worry about not having one on this island here. Because as you'll see, when that ore refinery gets destroyed, if you don't have another one that these guys can transport to, they'll just sit there and they won't be collecting any resources for me. So that's no good. But anyway, we have a contingency plan with that one there. And now they've kind of fallen into the pattern, it would appear, of hitting that one over and over again. So I got a Rocketeer trained again, and I want to locate their construction yard really bad, because that is going to be the catalyst that allows us to make a true offensive strategy here.
All fired up, riding high. Got a steady flow.
I don't think this island that their base is on extends the length of the map. I think it's relatively small in the grand scheme of things. Once you can kind of discover the extent of it, we at least have a perimeter to work with here.
Up and over. Got a steady flow. Riding high. Up and over. Up and over. Up and over. Got a steady flow.
Okay, so we got a decent perimeter set up here. And now I'm just going to sacrifice him, essentially, fly him straight into this base, see if we can locate the construction yard, which we have a piece of it revealed now. We can see, so I think one more Rocketeer from this other angle will be able to reveal the extent of what the defenses around that construction yard look like. And we will go from there in terms of a final strategy here.
New construction options. Repairing. Building.
I can go anywhere. I'll take the high road. Igniting boosters.
So we're just going to send him straight in from the opposite angle.
Unit
So there is some anti-air, but nothing too crazy. So I'm inclined to think that if we simply send 8, maybe 12 Harrier jets right at that Soviet construction yard from this angle to the right side of the island, I think we're going to be successful. So with that in mind, I'm going to construct those now.
Complete. Our base is under attack.
And just to be safe, I am going to construct another Air Force Command Center and try and see if I can
Unit ready.
squeeze it onto this little patch of land here next to these, just because that would be easy to select all 12 at once with a box like so. But even if not, if I have to place it somewhere else, I can do that, which it looks like I can. Place it right there. But I feel a little better with 12 compared to 8, just in case some of them got shot down. But the moment we can take that construction yard out, which is hopefully this first attempt, we can simply start
Unit ready.
tearing their base apart, because they can't reconstruct anything. They will be out of luck. So the order I like to take things out, if I can choose to, would be construction yard first. That would hamper their ability to construct any more buildings. Then I would like to go around the island to the other side, again with these Harrier jets, and take out their war factory. And then next would be barracks,
Unit
and at
ready.
that point they can't build any units. They can't build any tanks, they can't build any infantry. So that leaves you in a pretty good spot. Whatever you see on the map is what you get at that point, which makes it a little easier to
Unit ready.
deal with. At some point, if possible, we got to take this nuclear missile out as well. But we have a good idea of the pattern that they're going to utilize that. So that's not
Unit ready.
really hurting us too bad. Especially if they fall into the pattern of simply hitting this same structure every single time. It's just too predictable to be effective.
Select target.
Oh, another
Unit
thing, which
ready.
may go without saying at this point because they haven't constructed another one. When it comes to the super weapons, you can only build one type of each. So, they've, in terms of the Soviet super weapons, they've only introduced
Unit
the
ready.
nuclear missile. They have another super weapon called the Iron Curtain, which we will explore later in the campaign. But once they've constructed one nuclear missile, they cannot build a second. So you don't have any risk of,
Unit
8
ready.
nuclear missiles being fired at you or anything like
Nuclear
that.
missile launched.
At that point, that would be a little bit difficult to handle. They could simply fire them, let's say there were 8, something ludicrous. They could fire some at your construction yard, some at your
Under attack.
war
Unit
factory,
lost.
barracks,
Repairing.
and so on and so forth, to the point where,
Repairing.
in one fell swoop, they
Repairing.
just take you
Repairing.
out. But they can't do that. There's no risk of that.
Building.
So what we're seeing
Unit
now
ready.
is the extent
Repairing.
of utilizing that nuclear weapon. You'll see when it comes to exhibition matches, skirmish matches that we'll touch on later. If you set it up to be very difficult against you, and you have,
Repairing.
there are a maximum of 8 players, so 7 opponents, including yourself, when it comes to playing the AI. And
Our base
what you
is
can
under
do is set them all up against you, so they're all on a team. They're all allied together against you, and if you turn super weapons on, that is the only situation where you'll see multiple of the same super weapons utilized against you at the same time. We will touch base on that later once we run through all these campaigns. We will go ahead and do some standalone exhibition matches as well, and then we'll get into some of the unique factors and properties of doing that. But for now, I've got my jets over here hovering over the water, and I'm gonna just go for it and try to take out this construction.
lost.
Oh man. Oh, I got it. Okay, so I think I'm gonna lose just about every jet,
Unit
and I
lost.
got a little nervous there. So I had 12 and I lost 10. Not exactly ideal, but essentially we would sacrifice all 12 if it meant taking out that construction yard, because that is really the
Building.
catalyst that allows you to really start to do damage and take apart their base piece by piece once they don't have the ability to construct any further structures here. So we
Unit
lost 10 of
ready.
them out of 12, but we'll take that because I got nervous for a moment there, but we were able to successfully take out that construction yard. So what I'm going to do is simply replenish my jets
Unit
here,
ready.
and we're going to wait for that to be the case. Wait for those to be replenished, and then we're going to go around this side of the island and hit that war factory. That will take out their ability to construct any more tanks.
Unit ready.
And from there, we'll be in pretty decent shape. We'll just start to take out these buildings one by one, see what we can do.
Select
I'm going to
target.
try to do something here as well.
Unit
So I have this
ready.
paradrop ability,
Select target.
and there's a spot here that's pretty unguarded in terms of defenses or units. So I'm going to see if my plane that's going to drop off those
Unit
paradroppers
ready.
can even survive the trip through the base to drop those guys there for one. It may be shot out of the sky before it even gets there, but if it can, there may be an opportunity to use
Unit
some
ready.
GIs to take out a few buildings here, some power plants, this ore refinery maybe. But I don't think that's going to make it. Yeah, that had a little chance anyway. But I wonder if we can
Unit ready.
use a different approach to get some GIs right there. Or if that would even be worth it. I'm not entirely sure. That just is an observation I have, is that is a unguarded portion of the
Unit
base
ready.
here.
Orders?
Unit ready.
That nuclear missile is already almost ready to use again.
Repairing.
So that time that they give
Our
you,
base is under attack.
in regards to the countdown timer on that
Repairing.
nuclear missile, is 10 minutes,
Unit
but
ready.
that's
Repairing.
clearly a pretty fast 10 minutes. I would argue that's much faster than that, but
Aircraft
in
reporting
any case.
like the wind.
So let's proceed with our next strike here. We're just going to take these in
Changing vector.
around this south side of this island and then up onto the west
Changing
side.
vector.
I want to give enough
Thrusters
distance between
engaged.
those jets and that shore
Warning.
that they don't
Nuclear missile
get
launched.
hit by any
Like the wind.
stray
Thrusters
anti-air
engaged.
defenses that might be
Reinforcements
right on the shore.
Will go. Will go. Will go.
Our base is under attack.
Changing vector. Will
Unit
go.
lost.
Thrusters engaged like the wind.
Alrighty, let's go for it. Let's see if they can make it. I think they're going to meet less resistance
Unit
than they
lost.
did. Oh man,
Unit
maybe I'm
lost.
totally wrong. We might actually lose all of them. But in similar fashion, that's worth it. That's going to be a very gradual, very slow approach to...
Repairing.
whoa. Very gradual, very slow
Building.
approach to offensive strikes against your
Building.
opponent. But on maps like this where you are, participating in island warfare and they're on a
Construction complete.
completely different landmass than you, that is a decent strategy compared to trying to land
Unit ready.
amphibious transports onto the shore, or
Select target.
another approach where you get physical troops onto the land itself.
Unit ready.
Depends pretty simply on your approach, but I found that the jets are gradual but effective in the long run.
Rudder systems ready.
So as you can tell, I'm just going to replenish
Unit
those
ready.
again, and then with our final, or our next, I should say, maybe not final, approach, I'm going to take out that barracks. And we've seen the approach that the AI has taken in the past,
Unit ready.
where once their construction yard, barracks, and war factory are gone, sometimes they just sell everything. And they simply
Unit ready.
send a horde of whatever units they have remaining on the map in your direction. I'm not so sure that that applies
Our base is under
on this
attack.
particular mission, because they're on a
Unit
different
ready.
island than we are. So we'll see what they do. They might still sell, but if they do that, they're
base
just
is
going to
under
kind of
attack.
be stuck on the island here. So I'm not sure what their approach will be. We'll have to find
Repairing.
out. But once these jets are
Unit
replenished,
ready.
we're going to swoop in there one more time, take out that barracks, and then at that point, they really have no way of training any more units of any kind, tank or infantry. So we'll be in a pretty good spot.
Unit ready.
They will still have access to building boats, so that
Our
will
base
be
is under attack.
the only thing they have that they're able to continue producing. So we'll just have to see what response they have.
Unit ready.
Channel
But we're
clear.
very nearly
Standing
there.
by.
Reinforcements ready. Unit ready. Building.
As you can see, when the previous nuclear missile was utilized, they actually took out the war factory again, but it was the war
Unit ready.
factory that I had constructed up in this little sub base that I had up here, a smaller
Select target.
resource base that I had built as an extension of my own.
Unit
So I'm
ready.
going to construct another war factory, see if I can trick him into hitting that again instead of my main base, but really been a
Pilot
bit
reporting
sporadic,
like the wind.
more sporadic
Changing
than
vector.
what I'm used to seeing
Thrusters
in terms
engaged.
of the super weapon usage from the
Like the
opponent,
wind.
but
Construction complete.
Changing vector.
nothing that really cripples you too bad.
Thrusters engaged. Changing
At least
vector.
not in the way that it's being paired with their ground forces. I suppose if they were,
Will go.
if the AI was a little smarter and
Will
it
go.
chose to take out my power or take out my defense or something,
Thrusters engaged.
paired that with
On radar.
a large horde of infantry units they had
Unit lost.
coming towards me at the same time or something, that could be effective.
Unit lost.
But that is simply not
Ore
what
miner under attack.
they're electing to do. Alright, so I took out that barracks that they had.
Our base is under attack.
Oh,
Unit lost. Unit promoted. Ore miner under
and as you can see, they haven't elected to sell anything yet, so they're still in it here, even though they have very little,
Warning.
well, actually no
Nuclear
means of
missile
production of
launched.
anything anymore. So
Building.
I'm just going to
Unit
continue
lost.
with our approach. We had 4 jets that we were able to retain that time, and we'll have to wait and see.
Our base is under attack.
I decided to
Unit
hit
lost.
our main base
Repair.
again with their nuclear missile, so they are somewhat
Building.
consistent
Repairing.
in an inconsistent way, I guess. They're hitting my war factory consistently, but I have multiple war factories across the map, so they're doing that.
Unit ready.
They're kind of bouncing back and forth between which one they
Reinforcements
choose to
ready.
hit.
Ore miner under attack. Unit ready. Our base is under attack. Construction complete. Ore miner under attack.
So from here we can... Oh, no, no,
Bound
no.
forward. Good to go. Unit reporting. Outstanding. Ready to roll. Outstanding.
From here we can choose to do a number of things. We can choose
Unit
to hit that nuclear missile
base is
with our
under
jets,
attack.
or we can choose to hit the naval shipyards here. Either way
Unit ready. Repairing.
is a valid approach. I'm not so sure how we would do targeting the nuclear missile. That's kind of well positioned in
miner
the center
under
of their
attack.
base here.
Unit
So
ready.
I'm not sure if we would even be able to do that. So that's causing me to lean
Aircraft
towards
reporting.
hitting their naval shipyards at this point.
Unit ready.
But from here, it's just kind of a matter of
Pilot
doing the
will
busy
roll.
work when it comes to taking out the rest of the forces.
the
They're
wind.
completely
Like
crippled
the wind.
in terms of production. And now we just got to start nickel and diming them
Like the wind.
until their forces are gone, really. So at this point, I might be more inclined to mount some kind of ground assault as well, just because I've already crippled them so badly.
Thrusters engaged.
It's still going to be difficult.
Thrusters engaged.
Let's see if
Like the
12
wind.
jets is even
We're
enough to
going
take
in.
this
Our base
out.
is under
These things are
attack.
very... Nope, it's not. So 12 jets,
Unit lost.
something to keep in mind. 12 jets is not
Select
enough to take
Unit
out
lost. Building.
a shipyard. Something to keep in mind. Those things are very tough. Very, very tough. I'm going to try a different approach here.
Unit ready.
Try and drop some GIs into this base here just
Our
to
base is under attack.
take out some power plants or something on these areas that are less guarded.
Unit ready.
They're already moving forces in to fire at my GIs,
Enemy sighted. You got it.
Unit lost.
so this may not be effective at all.
We're being attacked.
Unit ready.
So as you can see, once that ground assault is mounted,
We're pinned down.
Unit lost.
they simply send everything that they have on the island towards you. So
Unit ready.
ground assault isn't entirely effective at that point. Not while they still have so
Standing
many
by. Main engines engaged.
units just sitting on their shores here. They haven't started to repair that
Channel clear. Changing vector.
shipyard yet, which is a little bit odd to me. So that would indicate to me that they're completely out of money. They're going to hit me with a nuclear missile again. So anyway, like I said, this is just busy work at this point. Slowly taking out the remaining components of their base here until they're gone. I'm going to try and speed this up a little bit. Sent some destroyers this way as well.
We'll go. Like the wind. Going in.
Our base is under attack. Unit lost. Warning.
Okay, we're in
Nuclear
trouble.
missile launched.
We might lose a lot of jets here, but we were able to take out one of their
Lost.
shipyards. They have 2 of them.
Unit lost. Our base is under attack.
And they chose to hit me up north again, so they're hitting this smaller base with a nuclear missile. There's really no rhyme or reason to
Repairing.
which location that AI is going to hit with their super weapon, it would appear.
Navigation system ready.
But in any case, it is somewhat effective in, slowing you down, I'll say.
New rally point
I
established.
got some submarines in my
Our base is under attack.
in the bay that I have here.
Unit promoted.
Captain on the bridge.
That's not good.
Building.
Captain on the bridge. Enemy spotted.
Unit
Main
lost.
engines engaged. Steady as she goes. Battle stations. Captain on the bridge. Ah! Oh! Enemy spotted. Oh! Rudder set for new
Construction
heading.
complete.
So you'll notice, as we've touched on previous missions as well,
Battle stations.
the destroyers you have at your disposal can fire at targets that are on the shore. And they can't reach everything, so at a certain point, obviously, it's simply going to be
Battle stations.
out of range for them.
Attacking.
So they can still hit these power plants. Those are within their range. They're definitely not going to be able to hit that radar, for example. At least I don't
Captain
think
on the
so.
bridge. Attacking. Navigation systems ready.
But this is another slow-going process, but they are effective in
Cancelled.
taking out
Standing by. Enemy spotted.
units and structures that are close to the shore. As you can see, we can pretty much clean out anything close enough to the shoreline to
Unit promoted.
Steady as she goes.
be within their range. You have to be careful of some of the defenses because they will fire back at you. I'm not particularly worried about the sentry gun, but I'm curious to see what this Tesla coil does against them.
Captain on the bridge.
Not much. So Tesla coil is not anything to be too afraid of here.
Battle station. Attacking. Enemy spot. Attacking. Captain on the bridge. Battle stations. Allied ship reporting. Battle stations. Speed to full. Battle stations.
Our base is under attack.
What has me concerned at the moment, again, are resources. It looks like there's a couple more pockets of gold, so as long as my
Captain on the bridge. Station. Rudder set for new heading.
ore miners aren't too
Standing by. To full. Main engines engaged. Aye,
trouble
Commander.
just from
Aye,
this
Commander.
submarine.
Allied ship reporting.
Our base is under
Battle
attack.
stations.
There we go.
Captain on the bridge. Standing by. Attacking.
Unit promoted.
New heading. Attacking. Standing by. Battle stations. Standing by. Allied ship reporting. Main engines engaged. Enemy spotted.
So essentially, we're just going to continue doing what we can here
Standing
to
by.
eliminate forces close enough to the.
Enemy spotted.
Unit lost.
Damn it! We could lose one of our destroyers here.
Unit promoted.
Enemy spotted.
Yeah, and this one's tough, man. This is a tough mission. It just
Select
takes some time
target.
to really soften up your
system
Our
opponent
base is under attack.
to the point where you can, destroy everything that they have. Obviously, the
Unit promoted.
Allied ship reporting.
the objective is to destroy everything, every unit on the map. So
Captain
completely taking out their forces. So frankly, like I said, it just takes time. Takes time to soften them up. Takes time to destroy everything that they've got. And even when you've got them in a position right where you want them, it does take some time just to go through and take everything out here. But in terms of commentary on the game here, like I said, these destroyers are a very effective force when it comes to kind of bringing them around the perimeter of an island or a shoreline of any kind, and taking out some of your opponent's structures, units, whatever the case may be.
Unit promoted. Our base is under attack.
And they're just going to keep hitting us with a nuclear missile. That's really all they have to utilize against us.
Repairing. Building.
And I was able to successfully get some GIs here landed on the shore now that I've taken out enough of their anti-air defensive structures here. So that's going to help a little bit, not much, but they'll take out a couple of structures here for me.
Allied ship reporting. Attacking. Captain on the bridge.
Unit promoted.
Spotted. Steady as she goes. Enemy spotted. Ready. Hooah! Attacking.
Reinforcements ready. Select
Now we're really in a good spot because we've got some momentum here, and we can continue, since we've kind of secured a secure beachhead here, so to speak, or landing spot for our GIs. We can just continue utilizing that paradrop that we have, dropping more and more GIs into their base.
Unit lost. Unit promoted.
As you'll see, I got more coming here. And now we're in pretty good shape to just continue on. And we'll hit them from two directions here. We'll use the destroyers as best we can to continue going along the shorelines. All our GIs move up through the base.
Repairing.
And no matter what you do, even if after you take out
Navigation systems ready.
the production from your enemy here in terms of their barracks and all that good stuff, they will continue dropping paradropping soldiers on the same island that your main base is located. That's going to continue the entire time. So you will have to deal with some infantry units rushing you throughout the entirety of the mission. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, it's been pretty consistent. No, that really sucks. Pretty consistent amount. And this small force here that they had built up has really kind of hampered those GIs from moving up. But other than that, they've really relegated their remaining forces to this small corner here.
Unit lost. Select target. Our base is under attack.
Allied ship reporting. Aye, Commander. Rudder set for new heading.
Unit lost.
Captain on the bridge. Steady as she goes. Attacking.
So I moved my destroyer around the opposite side of the island, rather.
Navigation systems ready.
I'm just going to use him to continue taking out what he can.
Unit lost.
That's going to leave them with very, very little remaining. We were able to, utilize the two separate attacks at the same time, both in the destroyers and the GIs that I was able to use to move up through the southern point of their base, and now they've got really just a straggling remaining number of forces here that we just got to keep coming through and taking out until they're gone.
Steady as she goes. Battle stations. Navigation systems ready.
Unit lost.
Transport ready. Sir, yes, sir. Time. On the move. Navigation systems ready. Enemy spotted.
So I'm very curious what happens in terms of the approach the AI is going to take after this final shipyard is destroyed, because that's really their last hope in terms of producing anything to send at me offensively. So once that's gone, yep, they may sell everything. As you can see, they did do that.
Mission accomplished.
And once all of those structures are gone, it is going to deem that you've accomplished that mission. The way that the objective was worded made me think that you were going to have to take out every individual unit. But apparently that's not the case. Apparently that is only referring to the structures themselves. So once they sell and give up, essentially, and surrender, then it's going to declare victory for you. So that will bring you to the end of that mission. So a lot of busy work on that one. Towards the end there, not a lot of really relevant commentary to give in terms of new strategy or new units that we haven't seen before. You really just have to spend a significant chunk of time taking out your opponents on that one. Towards the end there, once you hamper the production, if you take the approach that I would suggest, targeting that construction yard first, you're going to spend a lot of time after that just taking apart their base piece by piece. You can see that reflected in the par time on this mission. The par time in the bottom left corner on this screen here is 1 hour and 10 minutes. That's far and away longer than I can recall seeing any of the other missions up to this point. I haven't necessarily been keeping track, but I don't think we've seen anything over an hour, or even possibly even more than maybe 50 minutes. So that's reflected in the par time, that this mission is going to take you a little bit longer than the others. We were obviously able to beat that par time with a time of 1 hour and 3 minutes. So that's why we have a pretty positive message up top. You defended Pearl Harbor with such ferocity that the Pacific is ours. So that mission is just going to take you some time. That's the main takeaway here. Taking out all those structures on in a base that's on a completely different body of, or across a body of water on a completely different island than you, is tough to do. And you're going to have to either set up a landing force and send them over in helicopters or amphibious transports, or do it with aircraft of some kind, with jets, with helicopters, rocketeers, some combination of all three of those. So that's really reflected in the par time expectation. This one's just going to take you some time. But in any case, that's all I got for you for this video. In the next video, we will simply continue on with this mission campaign here, and I'll see you in the next one.